Well, hello and welcome to another episode of TerraVentures. We're back on episode 12, I believe, and we're starting things off in the shopping district because we've made quite a bit of progress. Well, not a bit of progress, but we've made quite a bit of profit. As you can see, 50 diamonds worth of profit in there. We also have managed to make some sales in this one, which I took I think it was 5 or 6 diamonds worth, I forget, as well as in what was the last step? What was the last thing we made? I just need to type something. There we go. So I'll just cut it there and write something up, and then I'll be right back with you. Well, yes, anyway, we've made 50 diamonds worth of stuff, so I believe we do need a little bit more rockets. I've been using them really quickly, so I'm not sure actually if this shop over here has any rockets, but we'll have a quick look. Beacons, wither skulls, ink sacs, blue eyes, slime, obsidian, conduit, sponge, and a chest elytra. It doesn't look like there's any rockets in here. Oh yeah, that's right, it isn't the rocket itself. And I checked that earlier today, so there are no rockets in there, so it looks like it's this shop I'm going to have to buy from. It's 2 diamonds a stack, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Let's leave 6. So there we go. So 38 diamonds left, and it's time to head back to the base for today's episode. And would you look at that, we've got 30 blocks of diamonds. That's a really good amount of profit we've managed to make from all the shops and mining all that. I think generally I tend to make more profit from shops than anything else, which actually reminds me of one thing that I also need to do, which I'm going to do off camera, is that the rocket shop that is a joint venture of Antarctic, it is completely out of stock, so I'm going to have to do a lot of AFK fishing at some point to restock that. But as I said, I'm going to do that off camera. Now, what I've got planned for today is to do some semi-automatic and some automatic stuff, so mostly involving this potion thing. I plan to make a potion factory, probably over here somewhere, as well as a smelting factory. So somewhere in here I've got quite a lot of furnaces over there, so stacks of 14. I'm not sure why I only have 4 of the blast furnaces, but I was going to make 2 lots of 14 furnaces because furnaces can take a lot more things. They can take cobble and sand, for instance. The blast furnaces can only take the iron and the gold, so I don't really plan to use that much. And the last thing, of course, is the smoker, which I get fish and cod from the... Let me think. I get fish and cod from the Guardian farm when I use it, as well as from AFK fishing. So I'm going to set those 2 up first. And once again, they'll probably go right... I'm not sure if I'm going to put it here or here, or... yeah, it's still quite a bit to be determined. So anyway, I'm going to get started firstly on the furnaces bits. And we've hopped into the testing world to try a few things. Now there's really two different designs I can go for with the the furnace design. The first one is this one, where you've got rails which take the minecart, the things across. Now the one disadvantage I've found with this design is that if you're smelting a lot of items, more than the minecart hopper can take, it will be filled up and it will start filling these 3, then it'll just keep going back and forth. When it gets to here, it'll fill in maybe 1 or 2 items, and then so it tends to fill these first few chests quickly, and the other ones not so much. Now I'm not quite sure if the other design is in here somewhere, but basically it involves, instead of the railway line across the top, it has hoppers going in the opposite direction, meeting to here with a comparator and an input preventing a redstone torch stopping the hoppers from actually releasing. And so the comparator will power the redstone light, and the redstone light will deactivate, allowing all the stuff to go through. Now what I found with that one is that up to, say, if you have 15 items, and you only have your 15 furnaces and only 14 items, it'll go all the way up to here and never actually activate the last one. So you can end up with a lot of items stuck in here reasonably quickly if you're not careful about how you do it. That is one thing consideration I'm going to have to take, but overall the hopper line is actually a little bit better. You may actually note what I've done back here, and this is a little thing I've been working on for a while. It's certainly not really related to the realm, but if you are an Australian, you will probably recognise some of these. These are the Australian football team. At least they're close enough to what I can get for their jumpers. So you have Adelaide, with the Adelaide and Brisbane and Carlton, Collingwood, Essendon. Fremantle was a little bit of a tricky one because they actually have 3 chevrons like that, but you can't really get that in Minecraft. You have Geelong, which is, I mean, it's not the closest you can get to it. Gold Coast, GWS, the Hawk, the Demons, the Roos, Port Adelaide, and yes, Tice. That is pretty close to what I could get. Richmond, St Kilda, Sydney again is not the best one. The team that we don't mention, and the Bulldogs. So yes, and if you're wondering, that's actually West Coast. They defeated my Collingwood, that one, in the grand final last year. If you're watching not in 2019, it's the grand final 2018 was between the West Coast Eagles and the Collingwood Magpies, and my team lost. So yeah, we don't really mention the Eagles. But anyway, back to the realm. Now that I'm back in the realm, I figured out there's 2 ways I can do these systems. So now I want all the things to be in a line, so there'll be a single line of furnaces, then another line of furnaces, then a line of blast furnaces, then a line of smokers, or whatever. Now I could line it up like this and have, one set like this and another set like that, and then 14 down I can have it like this, but that's actually going to make the building really long, which is not really what I want. It's a lot harder to make the outside shell of this building look nice. Now the other alternative, if I can just set this right, I need one more furnace, there we go. The other alternative is to have them like so, and cover up whatever it is here, and then then you can walk down the side, come to here with the next line of whatever it is, and so on and so forth, which I think would be better. It still means the building is going to be, you still need 3 minimum, so let me think, I think it's 3 minimum, at least 3 minimum for the hoppers, leaving a line in the middle, so that's 6 for 2, so if we have the opening line here, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's where the next one can be, and then another 3, I think, 1, 2, 3, so it's still going to end up about as deep as this thing here, which is nice. That fits in quite nicely. I think that's the way I'm going to have to go, although I'm going to build the outside shell, it still yet to be determined. But at the very least I can get started on building up the rest of these functional bits of these smelters. After a little bit of decision making, I've decided to go with a few layers of things. Now the next thing I need to decide is how tall, which layer has which thing. Now on the bottom one would like to have my most accessible things, and trying to decide if that's going to be the furnaces, which can smelt everything, or the smokers, which can only smelt the, they can only smelt the foods. Now the furnaces I would tend to use more, I think, because they can smelt cobblestone and glass and sand and all that, but the smokers I would use reasonably regularly, because when I visit the Guardian farm to, say, repair my elytra, which I actually need to do, I'm also going to take all the fish from it, and that's also going to be something I use reasonably often. So I'm thinking the smokers go on the bottom. Now you may also note I've separated my hoppers into lots and lots of 15s. I need 5 lots of 15 for each. I think that's minimum for each group of 30. So I'm also going with 30 now, 15 on each side instead of 14. So that actually means I need to get a lot more hoppers for this thing. So I need another, 60 hoppers. Well, minus the 8, but I need another heap hoppers, as well as to figure out how I'm going to do each of these layers. I'm once again going to be using bubble columns. I'm thinking at the top over here, 2 of them going to level 1, level 2, level 3 maybe, if there is level 3, and going on from there, there'll be a bubble column coming down, of course, but all that's yet to be built. So I think what I'll do is I'll finish up the redstone for this layer and then show you exactly what it entails. Well, as we can see, all the functional bits of this layer are now done, and I've also put in the floor for the next level. So if we just come up here, just up the ladder, you can see, as I said, all the redstone. Wow, I'm really bad at ladders. Anyway, so we can see all the redstone is done. Now, what I need to do is basically replicate the same thing on this level and the level above it, and then it'll be time to start working on the outside building of this, which I'll probably do in a future episode. Well, it's been a little bit of time, and I've now finished up the functional bits of all this redstone. So we've got the smokers in the bottom, the furnaces in the middle, and the blast furnaces on the top. And the main reason for that is furnaces. I'm planning to use smokers quite a bit, the furnaces not so much, and the blast furnaces, since they can only take gold and iron ore, and I suppose all the other ores as well. I don't really need them. I'll just get rid of this block here with an axe. So the next bit I need to do is to start work on the potion stand. Now I'm probably going to do the building for this in the next episode, episode 13 I believe. To be honest, I'm starting to lose track of all the numbers. Now, I'm going to be using Silent Whisperer's design for automatic potions. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I'll actually remember to do that this time. I know I keep saying that I will, but this time I definitely will. But for that I'm going to need a lot of blaze rods and of course blaze powder. So it's off to the nether, off to a place where I can find them. What's the name? It's a sometimes I wonder if I'm really good at Minecraft or not. It's an end fortress, not an end fortress. It's a nether fortress. That's the one. So we're off to there. That's a heck of a lot of gas. We might have to do something about that. So if we had a bow on us, we'd go, and if we had arrows as well, we'd kill them off. But we're not here to do that now. We're here to go get some blaze rods, and I believe there's one near the end gateway. So if I can find my way there, I'm gonna get those blaze rods, probably as many stacks as I can, and then I'll head back to the base and start work on the potion stands. Now, before we start our potion building experiment, or not experiment, but before we start building our potion things, we need to decide which potions we're going to be going through. So I've split these into the buffs and the debuffs. Basically, if I was to drink it myself, what would happen? So now, Wither 2, I don't really need. That doesn't really help anyone. I suppose I could splash on someone and kill them, but since we don't have that, Wither 2 is out. Speed 2 actually should go down here. Instant Potion of Harming, that one is a useful one, and I'm going to want the Splash Potion, either the 1 or the 2, for the Guardian farm. Poison, probably not the most useful. Weakness, not the most useful. Slowness has its use, I suppose, if I wanted to try and tag someone, if that game was to come back, which I think it has. But I don't think it's going to be something I'm going to need in commercial quantities. Invisibility might be useful, leaping might be useful, fire resistance, that's one I'm going to want. Which one I do throw out? Regen, that's a useful one. Strength is a useful one, I suppose. Slow falling, not that useful. Water breathing, well, I've already got quite a bit of other things, and instant health. Now, noting that these are things that I'm going to want to have commercial quantities of, so there aren't really that many. Invisibility, I mean, it'd be nice to have it, but it's not something I'm going to want to use a lot. Night vision, I really don't know if I'm going to use many of these things. Strength, that would be useful actually. But again, do I want commercial quantities of it? Probably not. In regen, so I suppose only the one I really want is splash potions of harming, and if I was to make 2 brewing stands of those, that probably 2 brewing stand setups of that would be pretty useful. And then I can probably fire resistance would be a good one for when I explore the nether and start killing off those blazes again for more blaze rods. So I'm going to have that. Regen, strength, instant health would be a good one to have. So at the very top, at least the top 4, and these ones out of sight. So we need to make at least 4 stations, if not more. I'll probably figure out how to do those things, because I'm not the best at potions and I tend not to use them. But I think this is actually my first foray into the automatic side of things. So let's just hop straight back. Let's hop straight back into the realm and start building the thing. Well, now that I'm back in the realm, it's time to decide where to put these potion brewing stands. Now, obviously, I've got to build the building around here, and I'm thinking that I also need a small skyscraper bit for the growing of this thing, the nether wart, although it doesn't need to be too big. I could probably just put a small building out to the back of this one here. But as you can see, I actually have hollowed out this a bit more, and Chromagar has also been digging out quite a bit because he needs some dirt as well. So I'm thinking that over here in this new grassy patch should be a nice area for it. So each of the modules needs a 6 deep and 5 wide area. So I need to find some block that I have got a lot of, cobblestone, stone maybe. At any rate, I'm going to start marking out some areas for each of the spots that I'm going to have, the number of potions I'm going to have. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to have, similar to these ones, I'll have a walkway in the middle, a potion bit here, a potion bit here, a potion bit here, and the same on the other side, and maybe one on the end as well, and that should be enough for me. And then of course to build a skyscraper on top of it in the next episode or so. Alright, just a bit of a progress update. We've got all the redstone bits done and all the functional bits, all the nitty-gritty of this done. Of course we still need to build the building, but once again a second episode. Now what we need to do is figure out what order the stuff needs to be brewed in. So if we just flick this lever, for instance, it keeps going in a circle, and it's going to brew the things in a 20-minute interval and send the completed potion all the way around. Now what we need to do is fill up firstly this thing with all the water bottles, which will take a while, as well as fill in these things one by one with the ingredients that they need. So if I'm correct, this one will be the nether wart, this one will be the this one would be the first ingredient. That's not nether wart, that is. And then the first one would be the second one, and this one would be the third one, and so on and so forth. So it's not that complicated, but it is going to be a bit of work to refill it. Unfortunately, that's, I believe, all that I've got time for today. I sort of mangled that sentence. That's all I've got time for today, so let's just recap what we've done. We've managed to build up the functional bits of the super smelters with the smokers, the furnaces, and the blast furnaces. Don't really know why I built those blast furnaces, since I'm not going to be using them that often, but you never know. And of course I've finished off the redstone and functional bits of this. I've still got to fill in, of course, the nether wart, the blaze powder, the water bottles and all that, but I believe I'll do that either off camera or in a future episode. And of course the 2 buildings outside, as I keep saying, are going to be on the outside. So as you can see by death level, we're actually going to go on to do the BOTAC, which is the board of the architect corporations, I believe. So we'll be doing that in a future episode as well, or just off camera, we'll see. But anyway, I hope you've liked this episode. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Join my Discord for updates, and keep watching out for the next one. Goodbye.